Okay, so how you guys doing? We're back with episode 2 of Talkin That Talk of POisE Production. As you know, I have my co-hosts with me. We have Miles, we have Joya, and today we have a special guest. Some of you might know her. She's real popular around the Milwaukee area. Her name is Miss Andrea Williams. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So we're just going to jump right into it. Our first topic, we're going to talk about just a little bit about yourself. So can you just give a little bit of background about where you're from, where you grew up, and went to school, things like that?
Okay, so not to bore anybody to death, but I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and I attended Central State University in Wilberforce, Ohio. And right out of Wilberforce, I took a job in Dayton, Ohio with my degree in radio and television communications. And it was kind of ironic, 2 years after working in Ohio, I had reached out to a man that hired me to be an intern in radio when I was 16. And that's how I ended up in Milwaukee. And it was kind of like, that's a story I tell a lot of young people, is that once you figure out what it is you want to do, you start building relationships at that moment. Little did I know from being 16 to 24 that this same person would play a role in my career. And I've been in Milwaukee now 21 years. So, I've gone to several markets doing radio, Washington, D.C., like I said, Dayton, and then Milwaukee. And I've been blessed because a lot of people in this business, they move around a lot.
For sure.
I've been able to come here, find my niche, have support from so many awesome people, and been here. While I was on the radio, I used to work at V100 for 5 years. I went to Washington, D.C., then came back, and I've been here at Jammin 98.3 for 17 years. That's probably just a little under your age, right?
So I mean, like, I'm just curious, why Milwaukee? You've been to different places, things like that. What makes Milwaukee so special, and what keeps you here all these years?
I think because I was doing so many things at once. Like, sometimes you feel like when you're doing a career that you have to pick something, but I've had the opportunity to do everything I love all at the same time. So I've done morning radio all along, which allowed me the rest of the day, so to speak, to do other things I loved. When I first moved here, I tried out for the Milwaukee Bucks dance team, and I made the team, and I danced for 6 years, which is awesome because I always danced, like in college and everything, but I never had a formal background of training. So it was always like, I look at something and say, I can do that. And I really work hard at trying to accomplish things that I want. So that was fulfilling. And then when I turned 31, and I figured it's time to retire from dancing because it got harder and harder to wake up at 5 in the morning and, just jump up like I wasn't up at midnight,
Sure.
So then I just started thinking, what can I do to keep my foot in the door? And again, it's about building relationships. So I was offered an opportunity to be the game day host for the Bucks. I was the original game day host, so I did not. I didn't have a blueprint. I really had to just go out there and create what I thought it should look like. And so I did that for 10 years. And so for a number of 16 years, I was with the Milwaukee Bucks. And also while doing the Bucks, I also did part-time television for CW18 and My24, which was a public affairs show where I talked to people in the community, the police chief, the sheriff, anything that's happening. We have that conversation. You've been on that show.
Yeah, I know about it first, and it was a great show. Okay, so just after talking about all of that, the real question I have is, what has been your biggest accomplishment throughout all these years? What has been your biggest accomplishment, and what has been your biggest triumph, and what have you learned from both of those?
That's hard. I think going back, and I didn't answer your question before. What kept me in Milwaukee? What kept me in Milwaukee was that it's a big city with a small town feel, and I think that just being, a Midwestern city where everybody knows each other and everybody kind of just has that friendly attitude. I love it. Yeah, it's all good. I really did. People were like, you left DC and came back. Yeah. I'm like, I did. East Coast and Milwaukee, two different worlds, Yeah. So I love Milwaukee, and it's been good to me. But as far as my biggest accomplishment, I think that just being able to do the things that I love has been amazing, and I feel blessed to be able to do what I love. So just like I said, doing all the things at one time, that's my biggest accomplishment. And then I think in 2016, I got named as one of the top 44 most inspirational African Americans in Wisconsin. And that was kind of like, whoa. So I really did embrace that, and I'm thankful for even being recognized for that.
For sure. And then just if you can talk about your biggest triumph, something that you had to get around, your biggest hurdle in life. I know you've been doing a lot, but is there one specific thing that, maybe didn't go your way, and maybe even though it didn't go your way, you learned a lot from it?
I think in this business that there's a lot of things that can go all kind of different ways because the business is ever changing, even with technology and things of that nature. I've been pretty blessed to always have a job in this business. Yeah. I've seen people who are awesome at what they do, and it has nothing to do with their abilities or their talents. It's just the way the business is. So I think the biggest thing for me, and it really has nothing to do with the job itself, was really just losing my father, because he was like one of my biggest supporters and would always just say, well, what do you have going on? And, you got any awards lately? And it would crack me up. I'd be like, why do you always ask me if I got any awards? But, to lose someone who's always been there, who's watched you and knows you and really truly wants the best for you. And my mother always is supportive as well. But just losing a piece of that support system has been hard for me, and I'm still working past that. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So then, we're just going to jump to the next topic. We got a little something different for you going on. So this is a little different.
Just with you being in, the TV and radio industry, I know that social media is kind of a pretty big part of that whole aspect. But with today's day and age, do you think that relationships are, how do you think that relationships are affected by social media? Is there more of a positive or negative?
You're asking an old chick this question. So I think that because of what I do, I am probably a little less ready to jump out there and go, look who I'm dating and look what I'm doing. I just kind of really, when I deal with social media, I just keep it business, and there are fun events that we do, with work and everything. I'll put that all out there, but I really do try to maintain some privacy. Now, I do laugh with my friends that I went to college and high school with, and we talk about there is no way we would have been able to function with social media because it's back then you used to be I heard, but now it's no, here's the picture. So I don't know, so I feel for young people in this day and age from just social media is something else, and I think that your mindset is everything. So if you are basing who you are and what you're about off of approvals and likes, then you're in trouble, but if you use it to your advantage and use it to build what it is you're trying to put out there, and even just putting the positive out there of what you're doing and what you're about, as long as it's making you happy and putting you in a positive light, I think it's what it is.
I mean, I feel like just with me, I don't really care for social media in a relationship. Just because it's just too much. It's too much jealousy really out here. It's a lot of people jealous.
Y'all getting old. Y'all getting old.
Even if they don't personally say it to you, it's just a lot of people who are jealous about the situation you're in and wishing you weren't with that person, or just pettiness. So, I feel like it's best to keep it out of a relationship, things like that. But at the same time, I feel like sometimes your significant other wants to be shown off on social media, and they're like, yo, you haven't put me on social media. What's going on? Is it something? You know what I'm saying?
That pressure is different.
And that's kind of I don't really know, but I'm not in a relationship right now, so I don't gotta worry about that.
See, I don't even get into the single.
In a
relationship, it's complicated. I'm like, none of your business. That's what I check. So,
for sure. What do you think about it?
So with relationships, I think it's about the people that are actually in relationships. So once you put that out on social media, it's like you're in a relationship with that person and with Facebook and with Instagram.
All your followers.
And so it just depends. Like if you want to put your relationship out on social media, there has to be some boundaries. I think you should get the approval of the other person. Like, oh, is this okay for me to post? Are you okay with this? How do you feel about this outfit? How do you feel about your hair?
See, all those things.
I'm glad somebody said
These are things that because people are constantly judging you. So, especially in this generation, like we're constantly being judged by others.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you want to put your relationship out there, that's cool. Just make sure you get the approval from the other person.
Yeah, we were talking before we started recording, and it was funny because I said some people, like, I go through social media, I'm like,
Right.
scroll. Some people are like,
Zoom in.
Like, girl, what are you doing? Honey Nut Cheerios. And you're like, are you serious? Why are you looking? You're just like, wow, they really study stuff a lot more than you probably even think.
And I mean, do you think that same thing was going on back in your day? It just wasn't on social media. Do you think people were as jealous and as particular?
Yeah, I
about
think
seeing
stuff like that is like just universal till the end of time.
Yeah.
Nothing changes. It's just, you know, like
The
with the
time
technology.
Time changes, but people don't.
People don't change.
don't.
Time
It's
changes.
just technology now and puts it on a whole nother level.
Yeah,
That's all.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we're going to take a quick break. That was the end of part 1. We're going to come back with part 2 with a little bit more content for you.